Get Over It. Ownership, Vision, and Action. A real-life solution to get unstuck and break free. By Devon Brough. Narrated by the author. And produced by Solid Gold Audiobooks. Introduction. Breaking free and breaking through. Growth is painful. Change is painful. But nothing is as painful as staying stuck where you don't belong. R Narayan Murthy. I spent most of my adult life in fear. There was no light at the end of my proverbial tunnel. If there had been, it would have been a freight train heading straight towards me. Hopeless is the only word I can use to describe how I felt during those years. When I was born, my grandfather, who delivered me, had to break my mother's pelvis so I could fit through. But the pain I caused my mother that day was tiny in comparison to the pain I would cause her and those closest to me and myself for many years to come. My birth aside, the mess that used to be my life really began when I was 15. At that age, I was dared by my friends to down a bottle of tequila. I made it halfway before I physically couldn't drink any more. I went home that night in a drunken stupor, falling and vomiting pretty much everywhere. My mother was angry, understandably so, and I remember standing in the corner of my bedroom as she shouted at me, coming closer. I hit out in front of me and ended up punching my own mother in the face, shattering her cheekbone. I had just experienced for the first time how aggressive I became under the influence of alcohol. A few years later, at the age of 19, I was duped into a checkbook scam by my best friend at the time, someone who was like a brother to me. A check for a substantial amount of money was deposited into my account, and I was driven around to buy various items, like car rims, tires, and expensive alcohol, which I paid for with my own personal checks. A week later, I was at a supermarket writing out a check for a large purchase of groceries when I was abruptly taken to the manager's office and kept there until policemen arrived. They arrested me, and I discovered I had a total of 18 warrants out for my arrest for financial fraud. The check that had been deposited into my account had bounced, and with it, all of my own checks. My supposed best friend got me out of the holding cell that night, illegally. He knew some powerful people, but what ensued was a nightmare. I couldn't go home to my mother's house as the cops would track me down there. The only person who offered to help was a Russian man who ran a brothel. For an entire year I hid in one of his homes, along with 3 of his prostitutes. I had no freedom and lived in
Sample complete. Ready to continue?